Both first, the Shadow Environment Minister Greg Hunt with me here in the Canberra studio. Mr Hunt, thanks for your time.
Good morning.
The polls show that the government yet to win the broader electorate on the carbon tax, but another group of high-profile, prominent Australians have written an open letter in support of it. 4 former Australians of the Year, as well as other prominent Australians, Dame Elizabeth Murdoch among the signatories in backing the government's carbon price.
I respect the right of all Australians to have a say on the carbon tax and all issues, but there are 60% of Australians who are clearly against a carbon tax, and they should have a right to vote for or against a carbon tax. The simple thing for the Prime Minister to do would be to announce the details of the carbon tax and to take it to the people. She wouldn't do that prior to the last election. She should do that now. That would be the decent, the honourable and the honest thing to do.
The names are mounting up, though, aren't they? The high-profile, well-respected people, among this list, the medical researcher Dr Fiona Stanley, Sir Gus Nossal, Professor Patrick McGorry, and a number of very well-respected Australians in this list saying that Australia needs to put a price on carbon.
It is our job to speak for the forgotten families. It's our job to speak for the forgotten seniors, for the forgotten small business owners, for the forgotten farmers, and we speak on their behalf because they do not have a voice in the public. So everybody has a right to their say, and I strongly endorse that, but it is absolutely clear that the vast majority of Australians believe in action on climate but don't believe in a carbon tax, and they should have a right to say that at an election. The Prime Minister should take the carbon tax to an election and treat it as a referendum on her proposal for higher electricity prices.
You don't have much of a chance of that, though, really. We look at the news poll today, there's no chance of the PM going willingly to the polls.
Well, she should go to the polls, and she should do the honest, the decent and the honourable thing, and let Australians decide. But you can say that as much as you like, but it's not going to happen unless, barring some misadventure or illness, is it? Well, I think it is up to the Prime Minister to determine her own course of action. If she believes that this proposal is the right thing to do, take it to the people.
All right, let's look at the issue of compensation. What about pensioners? Would the Coalition keep any pension increase in place that is implemented as part of the compensation?
Well, this proposal will be a disaster for pensioners and small business owners, for mums and dads. Already we've seen
the government might overcompensate pensioners.
Already we've seen a 17% electricity price rise in New South Wales announced yesterday. And what we will see is additional electricity price rises as a consequence of the carbon tax.
But we'll get to that in a moment. But on the pension rise, would the Coalition keep that?
Our view is very clear. The general principle is that the best compensation is not to have a tax. We will deal with any proposal that the government brings up when they bring up a proposal. The Treasurer on the weekend said he couldn't deal with the detail because they hadn't finalised it. So every week we have a different proposal. But our principle is very clear that if you don't have the tax, you don't need the compensation. We've said that repeatedly, but we'll actually deal with the specifics if ever one day they have specifics.
You spoke about the price rise in New South Wales, the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal suggesting that price rises would be over 17% for the current year. That is separate to the carbon tax, though. That is pressure that's happening without the carbon tax, and in part due to the renewable energy target of which the Coalition is a supporter. It's a bipartisan position.
There has been a massive blowout in the cost of the renewable energy target for mums and dads and pensioners.
But you back that target.
There are two elements here. The first thing is you cannot trust any modelling that this government gives on electricity prices. They are electricity price vandals. They said, and in particular Senator Wong told the Parliament of Australia on the 20th of August 2009, the renewable energy target would have a 3% impact on consumer electricity prices over 10 years. Now it turns out it's 20 times higher. It's having a 6% impact in 1 year. They are electricity price vandals.
So are you revising your position now on that renewable energy target? Because is it not a bipartisan position that both sides support that target?
We support the renewable energy target, but the vandalism and the damage to electricity prices has come from what's called the phantom credit scheme, where they give credits. for renewable energy that is not generated. We warned against that. We spoke against that. We said that would drive up prices. The government denied it would have a price impact, and they are repeating the same mistakes in the carbon tax as they did on the renewable energy target. They are electricity price vandals, and prices are simply going to go up and up. They're already going up. They're not having a significant impact on demand, and they will skyrocket under a carbon tax.
Okay, Greg Hunt, appreciate your time. Thank you very much for that. And I'm now joined, I spoke a bit earlier actually to the Health Minister, Nicola Roxon, about